Why do you have a cultipacker? I thought you were planting on rows. Hear me out. If you just searched how to plant field corn for doves without a planter, you found the right video. We're discussing all things field corn planting with a disc, talking fertilizing, seeding rates, techniques, tips, and tricks. You've come to the right place, so hang around. You're not going to want to miss this. Country Farming Home, about to give them some more money. I normally get the 3400, just super high nitro, but I need some potassium based on my soil test, but I don't want any phosphorus. Everything else seems to be balanced. So I think what I'm going to end up doing is just getting a couple bags of the 0060 and then get my 3400. That way I get nitrogen and potassium without the phosphorus. Moving your turkey to make room for your fertilizer. That's a good problem. Love this place. These people are always so nice. Got a full load of fertilizer, got some corn with us, got some herbicide. Time to go plant the corn for the dove field last weekend in April. Why do you have a cultipacker? I thought you were planting on rows. Hear me out. We're planting sunflowers on rows. I probably should have made that distinction. Corn has a 90 to 100 day maturity rate, plus you need about 10 to 15 days for it to start really drying out to be able to bush hog it. So I've got to plant the corn a lot earlier. This is the weekend of April 27th. And we're not planting the sunflowers until May 11th when we have the drill rented. This didn't work out for me to rent the drill 2 different weekends. I simply couldn't fit it in. So we are broadcasting corn again this year. We actually had really good success with that last year. I've got a better corn this year with a much higher germination rate, and I'm gonna go 3 times the seeding rate and really pump this fertilizer to it. If I waited to plant this corn until I planted the sunflowers May 11th, I just don't think the corn will be dried out in time for dove season, and that will be an ultimate fail, because on 4 acres, you need every stitch of land you can have producing seed for the opener. Bailing on the wheat millet field here, going with corn here because we can protect it. So we got to get this field tilled under, get a Roundup Ready field corn planted today, sunflowers in the long field with a drill May 11th, and then we'll plant the millet, brown top millet, not too long after that. So we did a soil test and we needed some more potassium, and I'm glad I did a soil test because normally we just put this 3400 and we don't put any potassium out. Our ground has plenty of phosphorus. It's actually too high from all this old ag land. I'm putting out 100 pounds of 0060. We're also going with 3400, the high nitro, to feed that hungry corn. And we're putting this out at 100 pounds to the acre. That potassium's a different color. That's kind of cool. Ground is so hard, we're actually gonna have to disc it twice. So I'm gonna go ahead and chase him with the fertilizer and go ahead and incorporate all this fertilizer into the soil. Previously, we have mixed in the corn with the fertilizer, but what I found was I didn't get exactly the uniform spread I wanted to. So because I'm only putting out like 20 pounds, I can run that through my hand spreader and get it exactly how I want it. I added that 5th bag of 3400. That's gonna be little over 80 pounds of nitrogen on 3/4 of an acre. So that's perfectly in line with the 100 pounds of nitrogen recommended rate for this corn. Now we're getting somewhere. That's what we needed. Needed that dirt cut a lot deeper. I'm gonna come back in here and do a burn down at the same time I do my pre-emergent planting and just spray 1 time. So I'll mix in glyphosate with my pendimethalin and metolachlor. So I'll do 1 spraying tomorrow that'll knock out any growth that has survived here, as well as apply that pre-emergent. 350 pounds of fertilizer, 3/4 of an acre field. Let's feed this corn. Running double tractors is so nice. Having that equipment is so much of a blessing. So thank you, Dad. We're cutting it good. We're incorporating that fertilizer into the dirt before we seed this year. Last year, we planted a Roundup Ready dwarf field corn. We had really low germination rate on it. I was not impressed with the actual germination. The corn plants that grew, we were happy with, but just the germination killed us. That field is way too sparse. Glyphosate tolerant, Roundup Ready, people call it. hybrid field corn. Total, I got about 20 pounds. And we're going to put out most of it on this 3/4 acres. And I know that seems really high compared to drilling, but there's an inefficiency when broadcasting. There's predation, birds eating it. You got some that's just going to sit high on the ground and not germinate. And through all my experience, I'm finding that when you're broadcast spreading, you've got to run your rates up to account for mortality. I'm going to spread it with the bag spreader. That way I get the exact uniform coverage I want. Make sure we've got really nice spread out there. It's worked before. And just see what that looks like before I add in that last 4. Dad says, you want to ride on the back of the gator while we spread? I said, yeah. I know this stresses some of y'all out, but we're doing controlled spillage again. I'm sorry. We are going to try and plant the sunflowers on rows, but I had to get this corn put in before it was too late. I think that's going to work. That works surprisingly well. Just kind of just gently lobbing it out there, getting that spacing we want. I'm doing some germination testing at the house, and I'm trying it at 1 inch, 1.5 inches, and 2 inches. Just curious which one does better. This disc is gonna, be ununiform. So some of these will be at 1 inch, some will be up to 2 inches, but we're gonna still just do it really lightly so we don't put too much dirt over top of them. One pass. Let's take a look here. There's none on top of the ground, or not many on top of the ground, some barely under. I'm gonna run that just a hair deeper. That Cultipacker really puts that final touch on it. Levels out, makes it nice and smooth, firms up this seedbed. As I was riding around, there was very little corn at the surface. And even the ones that are at the surface are pressed in. 3 times the seeding rate, I am not worried at all about 2 or 3 here and there at the surface. I think we're in really good shape here with a really nice firm seedbed. We'll just dig around in here. There it is. That guy was probably a good inch, maybe 2 inches under. So that's exactly what we were looking for. We'll come back in here tomorrow, do a burn down, and apply our pre-emergence both at the same time. So we're not on rows with the cornfield. Sorry if I've disappointed some of you all. The timing just didn't work out to have that drill for 2 different weekends, and I had to go ahead and get this corn in the ground. The video spraying the burn down and pre-emergence on the cornfield will be a separate video. I'll be back out here tomorrow shooting that. If you haven't subscribed, go ahead and hit the button. There'll be all kinds of Dove content, farming, food plot stuff rolling out all spring and summer. You're not going to want to miss it. But until the next one, thank you for watching. God bless. Take care. $1, $2, $3, $4.